Lovely.
Hello and welcome to episode 127 of the Parapod. You're here with your hosts, as per usual, myself, Mark, and Owen over here.
Himself.
The man himself, the man, the myth, the legend. We're back again, episode 127. Our recommended film for this episode will be The Hour of the Wolf, or just Hour of the Wolf. I'm not sure if there's a "the" in there or not. It's Ingmar Bergman.
It's Bergman, so there's definitely no "the."
yeah. It's just pure subject. Yeah. So Ingmar Bergman's 1960s film. It's like a horror film kind of thing, and it's kind of more than that, you know. If you've watched Persona, which we covered before, or like he did Seven Seal as well, didn't he?
He did.
Very abstract, very tall Swedish men, you know, being involved in themselves, and there's a lot. It's horrifying, but it's also not just spooky, scary time, you know. So we'll talk about that when we get to it. But yeah, how you been on?
I have been pretty good. I've been broke as fuck, but pretty good. Tell you what, this minimum wage life ain't good.
Yeah, no, it's hard out there. It's hard out there. How are you getting by? What any tips for saving, for scrimping, for budgeting?
Walk everywhere. Don't get the bus because then you eventually have to top up your leap card.
Eventually.
Don't buy lunch as much as possible. Make it the night before.
Yeah, definitely.
And cancel subscription services that you don't need.
Yeah, like your gym, your Netflix, your Disney, your all that stuff.
Yep.
I'm canceling my Disney. But I have a gym membership now that I don't use, so maybe I should get rid of that as well.
I'm kind of debating the Disney Plus. I'm like,
I honestly haven't watched it in. I think I used it to watch one of the films that we listed.
Yeah.
A few episodes ago. That was the last time I used it. Like, I don't use it at all. I used to use it constantly to watch The Simpsons. I'd fall asleep to The Simpsons in the background. I don't do that anymore because I watched it too many times and now it's not as funny. So I have to wait at least a year before I can watch it again.
You know that the new season of The Simpsons is meant to be pretty good.
Are they?
Yeah, like it's meant to be like seasons 33 and 34 or 32 and 33, whichever the newest ones are meant to be like a step up from the pits.
That's not hard though, is it?
The general internet audience has said that.
Okay. The general internet audience. Maybe because I know Futurama actually did kind of revive itself. You know?
I think Futurama's revived itself like 8 times though.
It had, but like as in when it came back and it revived the first time, it was actually good. It was worth watching, and I enjoyed watching it. And like it wasn't as good as the heights of season 2 or whatever, or season 3, but it was still good and still well worth the watch. I can't see The Simpsons doing that, but I could see maybe how it might be worth watching. Maybe I'll have a look at that before I cancel my subscription. But yeah,
because like
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why I also don't want to cancel my Disney Plus, because I'm like every so often I'm gonna watch an episode of The Simpsons.
Yeah,
like I'm really I'm really slow to get through TV shows. Yeah. I am really slowly getting through The Simpsons.
What do you mean, like the whole series?
Yeah, I'm on season 2.
Been at it for years.
I started watching this. I was like, I'm gonna watch all The Simpsons when I first got Disney Plus.
When was that?
Whenever the fucking it started,
3 or 4 years ago.
3 years ago. Yeah,
that is dire.
Yeah,
that is dire. Just because it's so bingeable.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say The Simpsons is. I think the problem is that I'm not at like peak Simpsons. I'm at like really old Simpsons.
You're at social drama, kitchen sink Simpsons.
Yeah, man. It's so weird watching The Simpsons when it's like that.
Very intense.
Yeah, like there's like really heightened drama.
Yeah.
Like social issues being tackled. I know that like season 6 to 8, like the peak of Simpsons.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
Like they're like, even when I'm watching it now, I'm like, I haven't seen some of these episodes, but I know these episodes.
Yeah, just from references and stuff.
Like season 2 when Lisa has like a substitute teacher that she really loves.
Yeah. What's his name, Mr. something or other, yeah.
Goldstein or something like that.
And he's like Tom Jones.
Yeah. And like I'm just watching, I'm like, I've never seen this episode, but I know this episode.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
Uh-huh.
Just from just the history of Simpsons is just known.
Yeah, it's just part of the atmosphere, the cultural atmosphere.
Yeah, it's so weird to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's way more like kitchen sink social drama.
Yeah, weirdly enough.
Like it's not like there's wackiness, but the wackiness is like in contrast to the like drama that's gone on. Like the last episode I watched was the second last episode of season 2. So imagine in season 3. And it's the episode where Marge and Homer throw a party and Homer gets too drunk and he makes a show of him and Marge and embarrasses them. So then they go off to marriage counseling essentially, and Homer, when he's there, knows that there's like a really big fish in the lake.
Yeah.
And he goes off to get that. And that's really wacky, but like that's in contrast to the actual like Marge being like, our relationship is on the rocks because you don't care. Yeah. You only care about yourself. And the fish, the Moby Dick reference, like, you know what I mean? Like chasing that is his selfishness want, and he fights against that. It's so weird to watch it.
It's a lot heavier. Like even the episode, I don't know if it's season 2, it might be season 3 maybe, or even 4, but when he's like he has that kind of tension with Mindy in the nuclear power plant.
Yeah.
It's like that's a very like the whole episode is about him being really conflicted. And Marriage is a similar episode with where she storms off and has like a kind of weird sexual tension with this French guy in a bowling alley.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is like a
marriage.
Yeah. But it's not about. It's like, oh, it's so crazy what these characters are getting up to. It's like a deep kind of their relationship is on the rocks, but they must weather the storm and realize who they must truly be with.
Fight temptation. Fight their lust.
It's like a real like moral like
bedrock.
Like, bedrock to all those stories. Yeah, it's which is so different to once you get past season 3 or 4.
Yeah, like early Simpsons is really like that. It's like every stage of The Simpsons has something, and then
except once you get to season 15 and on, then there's nothing. There's nothing redeemable.
I was watching a fucking hour-long YouTube video about The Simpsons, and it was like just talking about like how after a certain stage, The Simpsons starts just becoming really self-referential to its glory days. Like there's an episode where like Homer sends Lisa the gif of him disappearing into the hedge.
Really?
That happens in an episode.
That is, I did not know that. I wish I didn't know that. I have to tell you.
Like that is the absolute fucking pits that The Simpsons gets to in terms of like self-referentialness. He sends her a meme, which doesn't make any sense in terms of The Simpsons.
That makes zero sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
As soon as they got phones, and they call them like Maple iPods. It's like, oh, that's fucking hilarious. Wow.
Yeah, as soon as The Simpsons get phones, it's just downhill from there.
It's unwatchable. Like, I haven't seen them all now because they're just so bad. I just stopped. But when they used to come on Sky and stuff, it was just the famous Lady Gaga guest star episode, which is just irredeemable dog shit. It's one of the worst things I've ever seen.
I've never seen that.
It's so bad. It's just an ad for Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
There's a lot of episodes like that. In the like the newer, it's not even new now. It's probably 10, 15 years old.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's how long.
Old Simpsons,
that's how long Simpsons has been bad.
Yeah. It's been bad longer than it was good, which is such a shame. But I might have to check out the new ones, or at least cherry pick ones that are kind of like widely regarded as being okay. Maybe I'd have a look at them. But I just, it's like painful to go back and watch anything past season 15.
Yeah,
it's physically painful. So what the hell is happening here? It's just a disgrace.
And even like, because you know the way that I was saying, like classic Simpsons, you just know, even if I haven't seen them, you just know there's so much Simpsons from New Simpsons that it's like, no idea what goes on in those episodes.
Yeah, because they don't stick. None of it sticks, culturally. All the memes, all the gifs, all the references and the catchphrases, it's all from the first 10 seasons. All of it. Yeah. It's the same with like all the SpongeBob.
Yeah.
SpongeBob
had a very similar downfall.
Yeah, barely any of them are from actually like after the movie. Same with The Simpsons. It's the movie. It's always the movie, man. Think about it.
Yeah. Don't make things after a movie.
Yeah, they fucking blew their wad.
Movies ruin everything.
Yeah, don't watch movies because they ruin everything. They ruin TV.
They really do. Do they ruin video games though?
That's a great question.
Like, will Five Nights at Freddy's ever be the same after the Five Nights at Freddy's movie?
It depends how good the movie was.
Like, need I say more?
I think it's not good.
It's like, I don't know, like okay, right. So Five Nights at Freddy's, I feel like everybody listening to this podcast probably knows what Five Nights at Freddy's is. Like that really took the internet by storm.
That was big.
Like, I kind of not even forget, but like don't recognize like how massive Five Nights at Freddy's was. Like, that is like pure internet fandom.
Yeah,
just
it's part of the lore.
Yeah,
part
just
of
like
the lore.
And that's, I don't even know what caused the lore. I think genuinely, like, you know, the game theory YouTube video, YouTube videos. He's a YouTuber. I think he had a lot to do with it because it's like, here's this, you know, fucking video game. It gets really popular, so there's a second one, and there's like some vague lore in the two of them, and from that, fan theories can just go wild.
Yeah.
And it allows fans to like come up and like really read into things, and especially when like it's YouTube, most of the people watching those videos or like engaging in that sort of content were young people, basically young people learning how to read into media.
Yeah.
In a way, and like what's the word I'm looking for? Like not reference, but like not even read subtext. I don't
interact.
Not interact. Like it's an or word I'm looking for. Refrain, but it's not refrain. I don't know. They're able to like read into the media basically and understand and make connections between bits in the story and stuff like that. And allows them to like, you know, really engage with the text. And also, you know, theories and stuff like that. Like, it's just good. And like also like the characters are really iconic. It's a fucking great fucking idea. Like evil animatronics.
It's great. Like, it is a great idea.
We talked about fucking Willy's Wonderland.
Yeah.
Last year.
A long time ago.
That film was ass. But my God, like the hype for that movie, I had so much hype for that movie because like Nick Cage fighting evil animatronics. What could go wrong?
Wow.
That movie shows like, well, this is how it could go wrong. You just make a shit movie that's not good really at all. And squanders the potential that it has. So like we're going into Five Nights at Freddy's, my expectations were nowhere near as high as Willy's Wonderland.
Yeah. Understandably.
Understandably so, because like there's no way that the Five Nights at Freddy's movie is going to be really good.
There's actually no way.
No way.
It was impossible.
Literally,
it was not going to happen at any
It's
point.
a video game adaptation, and it's Five Nights at Freddy's. Like, there's just no way that it's going to work.
I had YouTuber guest stars like announced like in lieu of release.
The game theory guy Matt Pat, he's in it for one scene. And he says, because like one of his lines, his like famous lines, like, and that's just a theory, a game theory. And he says something along those lines in the movie. He says something like, oh, do you know this, whatever? And that's just a theory. And he just walks away and is like, oh, fuck off. But, so like in terms of like being a movie, it is not a very good movie. It's not the worst thing. It's better than Willy's Wonderland. It's better than like, it's better than a lot of films that you would think would be shit. You know what I mean? Like,
how bad was Willy's Wonderland then? I've only heard universally bad things about Five Nights at Freddy's. Willy's
Wonderland was a 3 out of 10 film.
Oh.
Five Nights at Freddy's is like a 5 out of 10.
Ah, okay.
You know, like it's grand.
Like it is. It's Josh Hutcherson's. He's pretty good.
Yeah, he needs a better agent.
He really does.
Oh my God, he does.
What happened after the Hunger Games?
What the fuck happened to him? Jesus Christ.
Bridge to Terabithia, Hunger Games.
I feel like there's something else.
Everything else.
Journey to the Center of the Earth.
Yeah,
that 3D one.
We'll give him that.
Yeah,
we'll give him that just to be generous. Everything else, he's just swinging. Yeah. He's just swinging at air. He hasn't had a single decent film beyond those three. And even that last one is pushing it.
Yeah.
That is pushing
it. I was going to say pushing it, and even like some of those Hunger Game movies is pushing it.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, yeah, because there's him. But do you know what? So I'm sitting watching the movie. I'm like, this movie's kind of mid or whatever. And Matthew Lillard comes on screen.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, there is hope.
Yeah.
There is fucking hope for this movie.
Uh-huh.
And Matthew Lillard is like the best thing in this movie. He's barely in the movie, but he is the best thing in the movie.
What is he in the film?
Spoiler alert. He's the bad guy. And it's like, oh my god, outside of Scream, I don't think I've ever seen Matthew Lillard be a bad guy. I think he always plays the good guy.
But he's hard to dislike, even in Scream.
Even in Scream, like,
he's a bit of a rascal.
Oh yeah, go kill her. Fuck it. Yeah, like he plays the bad guy in this movie. And you know what the funny thing as well is, like, I was shocked as to how much lore of Five Nights at Freddy's I actually knew. Because I'm watching the movie, I'm like, nearly everything that this movie is putting down, I understand. And like, I have not engaged with Five Nights at Freddy content in like 10 fucking years. And for some reason, I remember and know it still.
Did you ever play the game?
No,
yeah, I never played it either.
I just like knew from like internet spheres.
Freddy Fazbear, I know his name.
Yeah.
I know the vague kind of outline of the plot.
I was like, that's Freddy, that's Bonnie, that's Chica, that's Foxy.
You really know your lore. I didn't know any of those things.
The cupcake is like the main animatronic, basically. The cupcake in this thing is like the main animatronic that kills. Having a fucking breeze what that is, though. Having a clue. Not that important, but having a fucking clue. There's this weird thing as well, right? So there's like the 5 animatronics, if you include the cupcake, right? And there's Josh Hutcherson's character, who plays...
It's a hard name to say.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Josh Hutcherson.
Hutcherson's a strange second name.
It really is.
It should be. I feel like it should be
sounds like
Hutch.
It's one of those Sims names, you know. It's just like, just auto-generated.
Yeah, just made up.
Yeah.
Fake name.
It's not a real name.
But he plays a dude that is like suffering with kind of like PTSD because when he was younger, he saw his little brother get kidnapped and they never saw him again. So, this is where the movie gets a little bit confusing in terms of like, this writing doesn't really make that much sense, because he's talking about like, oh yeah, when my little brother got taken away, like the family fell apart and my mom and dad, like, you know, divorced, whatever. But he also has a little sister who is like 15 years younger than him. And she was not born when the little boy went missing.
So half sister?
No, like full sister. So it's like, so did
they got back together?
So did they fall apart? Did they not? Because they seem to have another kid. I know they're not around anymore. So I don't know what the lore here is. It kind of feels like they kind of wanted it to be his daughter, but they didn't want it to be his daughter.
Yeah, because then it'd be bad for the audience.
Yeah,
they'd all be like 15-year-olds.
Yeah,
I can't relate to a man who has a daughter.
Yeah, I can't do this. I can only relate if it's a brother or a sister.
Yeah.
I don't know. Strange. But anyway, so he's taking care of his sister and he's a fuck up and he gets a job at Freddy Fazbear's. But the first night that he's there, he keeps having this dream. That's just like fucking awful dialogue as well, being like, you know, like your dreams are things that you remember. So he keeps trying to have the same dream over and over again to see if he can remember what the guy looked like.
Yeah.
So he keeps having the same, and they like really emphasize that.
Uh-huh.
So he's having this, he falls asleep in Freddy Fazbear's, and it's different. He turns around, and there's 5 kids standing behind him. Now, the 5 kids, there's the main one, which is the blonde little kid. There's a kid with like a bowler hat kind of thing on, like a top hat. That's Freddy. There's a kid with a hook in his hand. That's Foxy. There's a little girl. That's Chica. And there's another kid who's got bunny rabbit ears. And that's meant to be Bonnie.
Yeah.
So the only conclusion I can make from that is that the main kid, and therefore, ergo, the main animatronic is the cupcake, because there's no other, and the cupcake doesn't speak or anything. None of the animatronics speak. I feel like that doesn't make sense. Why is the cupcake in Dream and also outside, you know, in terms of kills, the main animatronic? That seems wrong to me.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure the significance of Cupcake. Is it like a third-rate character in the video game?
I have no idea.
But it's the main kind of animatronic.
It is the main animatronic, and seemingly the main animatronic in terms of the dream as well.
All right.
Even though you think that,
What's the significance of the dream?
He is communicating to the dead kids.
Haunting
the animatronics.
The animatronics.
Yes.
About what?
What do you mean about what?
Oh, what is he communicating?
He wants to find out about what happened to his brother.
Ah, and it happened there.
No, it didn't happen there.
What does this have to do with anything?
Because you're watching the movie like, what the fuck? Why are you're just having this dream and there's these kids and you're speaking to them? Why do you think that they're going to tell you anything? Surely you would think that you're a figment of your imagination.
Yeah.
But then when he wakes up, he has like cuts on him from the kids slashing him. So it's like, oh, there's like something real going on here. Anyway, so fucking fast forward, the animatronics start killing people, but the animatronics are actually little kids. And when they see his little sister, they're really nice and friendly. And that kind of removes the horror of the animatronics.
Because they're actually good?
They're actually good. They're just confused.
They're confused about what?
I have no idea.
But they just want to kill people.
They want to kill everyone, but they don't want to kill everyone. Because they're just kids.
They're nice to the ones who have already been killed.
I actually couldn't tell you, bro, because like they kill a security guard at the start of the movie.
Yeah.
But they don't kill the little girl, and they don't kill Josh Hutcherson after that point. And there's this cop character, and she is the fucking worst. This movie would be significantly better if this cop character wasn't in the movie. It is like one of the most confusing characters I've ever seen. Don't ask me to explain it, man, because it's too complicated. She's like overly explaining everything, but also her motivations for what she does makes no fucking sense. Just a bad character. There's no blood or gore in this movie.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons, because it's meant to be watched by kids.
It's 15s though, isn't it?
But it's still too old.
It's weird that it's 15s.
It's like, just fucking commit. Like, just commit and make it fucking 18s.
An 18s Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Or rated NC-17.
Yeah, just get a pair of tits in it or something.
That would have been... It's so like non-offensive, except for one scene. It just has bare boobs.
Yeah, bare titties. Bare titties.
That could have been in the movie.
That could have been in the movie, you know. But it's also like not enough in the movie to like. I don't think there's any cursing in the movie. There's like no gore. There's like I really don't understand why it's 15s.
Mature themes.
Dead kids, is that enough to get 15s? I suppose it
is.
is.
Yeah, I suppose it would be, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. There's also like Five Nights at Freddy's thing is that it has jump scares. There's no jump scares in this movie, which I think that's the one time I'd be like, why is there no jump scares in this movie?
Yeah, that was the whole point of the game.
That is the game's bread and butter.
That's the one thing I remember from when the game first came out. And all the YouTubers doing like Let's Plays and stuff.
Yeah.
I remember I watched a few of them. I was like, oh. And there was one about like Slenderman at the time. And it's a big thing at the time. That's how it got popular. Surely the film would take advantage of that. Because jump scares aren't really a thing, you know, anymore as a cultural phenomenon.
Yeah, they're not.
You know, it would have been an interesting, or more like just a fucking obvious thing to add to the film.
Yeah, I just feel like, because the director of this movie directed a movie that I talked about a while ago called The Wind. And The Wind wasn't like a very good movie, but it had very interesting themes. And watching this film, I'm like, yeah, she doesn't even have interesting themes in this movie, and it's not very good still. So,
yeah,
just think she's kind of a mid-director. And yeah, it's like, I feel like it's a good, like, Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Like, this was like, this isn't like the best case scenario or the worst case scenario. This is exactly what you thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
It is exactly as it should be. No better, no worse.
You can't really hate on that.
Yeah, you can't. That's the annoying thing as well.
Yeah.
It's not even like so bad it's good. Or like,
how did you see this?
I'm not going to go to the cinema to watch this. That's just going to ask. Fucking hell, no.
That's what I was asking.
No. God, no.
Oh, you saw it via other means.
Via other means.
I wanted to watch it as well via other means, but I didn't get around to it. I suppose it's going to save time. But, yeah, no, I'd say this... It was a Liam who had the bad experience in cinemas.
Yeah, God bless him.
Yeah.
God bless him. That's why I didn't want to go see it in the cinema. Accidentally went on opening night.
Yeah. You could go to the cinema and just be like, what's going on? None of this makes any sense.
Like if I walked into a cinema like that, so like
you wouldn't walk out.
For the listeners, like Liam, who's been on the podcast like twice now, he went on opening night and walked into a Five Nights at Freddy's fan base watching the movie. So they talked through the entire fucking thing. Awful cinema experience. However, and I did tell him this, I think that's on him. You walked into their space, like,
yeah.
Like you did not belong there. Like,
you were the problem.
Yeah, like, I don't blame a single person in that cinema for doing that because they know what they are. They know what they were there for.
Yeah. That is a very valid point. Like Liam was the intruder. He was the he was the weird guy there.
Yeah.
They were that was their space to not be the weird people.
Yeah. It was their one chance.
So you just let them at it.
Yeah.
You know, lock them in that room for the whatever
the 90 minutes or however long this film is.
However long this film is, and just, you know, let them have it, I suppose.
And let them enjoy themselves.
Yeah, I wonder if that's still going on though, you know. If you walked into a random showing, would you still have some kid? It's like, this is gonna happen next. It's like, that's game theory or whatever.
Yeah, probably. Liam did say that when, like, Liam went to go see Endgame at midnight.
Yeah.
And he said that the reaction when Matt Pat came on screen at Five Nights at Freddy was louder than anything that happened in Endgame. I'm
kind of happy for them.
I say, like, in a way, I'm kind of like, well, that kind of proves my point, bro. You walked into their space, like that is on you.
Yeah. Yeah, he's there like a fucking anthropologist. It's like this strange race of people, just absolutely incensed by Matt Pat, whoever that is.
Whoever the fuck that is. That's the thing as well. Is like Liam was like, I don't know anything about Five Nights at Freddy's, so I didn't understand anything that was going on in the movie. And it's like, my point still stands. Like, I don't know. Like, to be honest, I don't know why anyone would go into a Five Nights at Freddy's movie expecting a movie. I don't know why you'd do that.
Yeah. Like I would definitely, a few years ago, definitely would have been like, because the trailer looked kind of cool, to be honest. It looked kind of cool.
The animatronics are pretty cool.
Yeah.
And they're actually real animatronics.
Yeah.
They don't look like it in some scenes.
In the trailer, they don't really look like it.
I don't know. I think it's the lighting or something. I'm like,
they have the reverse problem where their animatronics look
they look like CGI. Which makes me feel really bad because I'm like, you put so much work into that, and
it's for nothing.
It still looks like CGI.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It's just, I think it's like the way that they move is like too smooth or something. Where like in my head, I'm like,
they're too advanced.
Yeah, the robots for the animatronics is too advanced.
Yeah.
It should be like shittier.
It should be more jerky and stuff.
Yeah.
Like the Chuck E. Cheese robots.
Yeah, literally, or like. But because I'm like, did Willy's Wonderland have good animatronics? No, it did not. I remember certain scenes in that film looking like absolute fucking dog shit.
Was that CGI or animatronics?
I think like a blend. I think it was dudes in suits. I don't think it was animatronics.
Well, that's kind of cool though.
Yeah,
it's kind of creepy as well.
You can get away with that.
Yeah, but even like a RoboCop kind of thing, you know, like 80s old school, like just kind of something off, like just guys in suits, but there's something clearly off about it. Like it's not meant to look perfect. But they tried. They probably should have tried in other areas first, and then just left the animatronics to look after themselves. But you know, that's their space, and we'll allow them to live on their reservation of cringe.
See, the island of cringe. Yeah, there is something inherently cringy about Five Nights at Freddy's. I think it's because it's like, I genuinely think it's because it is not it's not too far away from furry shit.
Isn't it?
You know what I mean? I feel like it's like, you don't have to make a massive leap from Five Nights at Freddy fans to furries. Do you know what I mean?
I get what you mean, but it also sounds like a massive leap.
But like, you know what I mean?
But I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
It just seems like you just went ham on furries just out of nowhere, you know. But it does make, like, if you know the fan base.
All the respect in the world to furries.
Yeah, respect the furries.
Yeah, respect the furries.
Well, We should have a furries
Acceptance to the furries. That maybe not respect, but acceptance to the furries.
Tolerance to the furries.
We'll allow it.
We will allow that, yeah. Let them live in their island of filth.
Would fucking love to meet a furry. I just want to.
You've met a furry.
Maybe I have.
You have met furries, man. Yeah.
But like, you know, I've never like talked to them about being a furry. I want to pick their brain.
Yeah.
And I don't want to fucking like. I'm sure there's like endless amounts of YouTube documentaries I could watch on like furries. But like, I want to speak to a furry.
We could set that up.
I feel like we could.
We could set that up. When's Comic-Con on?
Do you think there's furry movies?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, there's furry porn. There's loads.
Yeah,
believe me. There's too much.
I've never met a furry before, but I'm a connoisseur in their porn.
It's just it has subgenres. It's ridiculous. You know, if they died off a bit. You know, the Great Purge of 2015. They were huge back in the day.
So
I knew a few furries.
I wish I knew one.
You did know them.
Are you telling me that I do know them, but like
you did?
You can't say their name.
I don't want to say.
Okay, right.
I'm not gonna out any furries out there. You know?
Holy shit!
Yeah, of course you did.
Hold on, we're gonna hit pause. Oh my god, you're right. Yeah, no, I did.
Yeah.
You're actually right. Yeah, no, I did.
That was a matter of historical record.
Yeah.
a long time ago. But anyway, yeah, furries. Anyway, Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's. It's mid. You know, it's like
it's mid.
It's mid. It's like as good as you're gonna expect it to be. Probably really good if you're a fan, and that is exactly what it should be.
Yeah.
If Five Nights at Freddy's like turned around a bit and was like the best horror movie of like 2023, I'd be like incredibly upset.
Yeah, that'd be kind of insulting. I think.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of a slap in the face.
It's like, oh man, like and. Like it's like that's, I don't know. It's just something that it just feels like that would be incredibly wrong. It's just like incredibly wrong.
It would also empower the people that go the existing fan base.
Oh
to
man.
an extent.
Yeah, maybe that's the reason why is that I don't want.
You wouldn't want that to happen.
Yeah,
you want these people like. All power to
it would
them.
enable them further.
Yeah. It would kind of reinforce bad habits. Let them live in their island. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with being young and enjoying these things.
Yeah. It'd be like if
Martin
It'd be like if Martin Scorsese came out and said a Marvel film was actually good.
Yeah. It'd be like
it just emboldened them.
Yeah, it'd be like a sign of the times.
Yeah.
It'd be it would be a bad omen.
Yeah. It's like fuck shit. This is the end of the world.
Yeah. No. So thankfully it's not good. So we don't have to worry about that.
Thank God the world can continue on.
The world can continue on, or can it?
Can it?
Continuing on our Exorcist series, I watched The Exorcist 3 Legion from 1990.
Owen fucked up. Owen did not get enough time and did not continue on the series watch. So I'm passing the torch. Mark will lead the way into the dark.
Well, we were jointly carrying the torch before.
Yeah, I know.
You just let go of the torch.
I like to think that because I know that we said that we were going to do that with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series. We're going to stop at a certain point, but I kept going out of my own curiosity.
Yeah.
And suffered fucking horribly for it. But you can take the step for us.
Yeah, no, yeah, we all have busy lives. It's very, very understandable. I've done the same thing before, but Exorcist 3. It's kind of a shame. I'm very disappointed that you missed out. Not disappointed in you, but disappointed in.
You're a fucking mess, Owen.
just because this is a really good film.
Yeah, no, I'm really annoyed.
This is a bizarrely good film.
Do you know what the annoying thing is that I started saying that we'll do this fucking franchise because I wanted to watch Exorcist 3 because I'd heard it was good.
It is. And then you didn't watch it.
And then I didn't fucking watch it and I have to watch all the fucking bad ones around it. And I don't get to talk about the good one.
No, you can catch up. This is a good film. Like this is just weirdly good film. I don't know why. Something might have something to do with the fact that the writer of the original film, William Peter Blatty, directed this film. So he made a sequel So The Exorcist was originally a book,
Mm-hmm.
The Exorcist, which is based on a true story. It was based on a true story, the same way The Conjuring and all those things are based on true stories.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's made into a film. William Friedkin made the film, huge film, massively influential, hugely, like, insanely successful. We didn't talk about that. We've never really talked about that before, but The Exorcist is one of the most successful films of all time.
Yeah, it's like one of the like highest grossing horror films ever made.
Yeah, like it was a cultural phenomenon on the level of Avatar. It was massive.
Even though it was banned in loads of places.
Yeah, it was banned here for a year. It's a very quite recently. After the original film, obviously you had the sequel, which is not good.
As we covered.
Yeah, as we covered last episode, and that was about a year or 2 years after, or 3 years, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
It was a few years after the first one. No one really paid any attention to that. William Peter Blatty, the original writer, he was like, I'm gonna write a sequel, and he wrote a sequel to the original novel, and it's called The Exorcist Legion, and Friedkin initially optioned this sequel novel to make a sequel to the original Exorcist. So what it originally was supposed to be the original duo, Friedkin and Blatty, director and writer, to make a sequel to the film. What was it? 13 years after the original. Yeah. Which sounds amazing.
Oh, yeah.
That's like one of the things where, like, you read that line, you think, oh, like, what could have been. Friedkin dropped out, and it ended up that Blatty sold the rights basically by himself, but only on the condition that he could direct the film, because he wanted direct creative control. He wasn't happy with what had happened with the second one.
Fair enough.
And he had real convictions, like Friedkin did, about how
they can't massacre my boy again.
Yeah, about how the actual material is being treated, and about the story. He didn't like bad movies. He wanted to make a good movie, so he made The Exorcist 3.
Especially when, like, you've arguably made, like, one of the greatest movies ever made. Argued by some people as the greatest movie ever made.
Yeah, by many ill-informed people. But it's a great film, of course.
It's a good movie.
It is a really good movie. But, like, this is a film that shouldn't really be. It's no right to be as good as it is. Like, it really is very, very good. It's kind of panned as well. It's not regarded as it wasn't regarded very well at the time anyway. For example, the Rotten Tomatoes score is like 50%. The IMDb is the Metacritic, like all the kind of metrics for critical reception.
What's the letterbox?
They're thereabouts 5, 6 out of 10, which I really don't understand at all, because the film is just like, it's leagues and leagues ahead of the sequel, Exorcist 2.
Exorcist 2 is fucking so bad. Holy shit. 3.5.
Is it 3.5 on Letterboxd? That's the best I've seen. That's the highest rating.
That's pretty fucking good. Like, 3.5 on Letterboxd is pretty good.
Yeah.
Considering that I think the highest rated film is a 4.6 or 4.7.
Yeah. Like, it really suits this film, because it's not an all timer. It's not a classic, but it is a really good. Like, see, it's not even the same as The Exorcist. It's not the same kind of vibe. It's just a lot of the same characters. So, the priest from The Exorcist who falls down the stairs and dies at the end. Damien Karras is the character's name. He is it basically happens in the fallout of his death, or like the long-term fallout of his death. As you had the lieutenant as well from The Exorcist, which, honestly, hands up, I don't remember that character, to be honest. He's played by George C. Scott in this.
No idea.
I don't know who he is.
No idea that was a character. Like, does not matter. The priests.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Like Reagan and the man. That's all that matters in that movie.
Yeah. And like, those latter two characters, Reagan, like, they're not in the film. Not in this film. This film is about the lieutenant. And there's another priest who's also in the first film. But like, he's not. He kind of falls to the wayside halfway.
Also not important.
Yeah, not
one of the two that dies, so it's not important.
Yeah, it's about the lieutenant living in the aftermath of this exorcism, and in the aftermath of his best friend's death, Damien Karras, at the hands of Beelzebub, an event that it can't be explained rationally. And he works for the state. He's like a detective. He's all about rational explanations, investigations, stuff like that. And this is something that defines his life, which he cannot explain in any sense. At the same time, so like, that's one thread of the film. And then the main kind of body of the story is a serial killer manhunt investigation between a serial killer that's already been caught tried, executed, and buried, who is somehow still active.
Oh shit!
See, that sounds terrible, doesn't it?
Yeah. It does sound bad. Shit!
That sounds so bad. But it is called the Gemini Killer, and I'd read about the Gemini Killer, like the character basically, before. I can't remember where, but I think maybe in books about these like horror films or
horror films.
Yeah, or like a list of like the best, fictional.
Is he meant to be like the Zodiac Killer?
Yeah, it is. It's just a Zodiac Killer, but like kind of given a new lick of paint. The Gemini Killer is this guy who had this like very precise MO. He was caught and tried, killed, executed, all that stuff many years ago. But there's a patient in an asylum who seems to have like some bizarre awareness of what exactly his secret MO was. And it seems to basically know details that only the Gemini Killer and the police could possibly know. Yeah. So the whole thing is it's like so the lieutenant has to deal with this these impossible coincidences, in addition to all these weird coincidences, like all the new killings that are taking place, which seem to be linked to the Gemini Killer. They're all very, very they're linked to religion basically. So it's all like someone's head will be cut off and all their blood removed, and their head will be replaced with plaster cast of Jesus ripped down from the top of the church. Just weird, like weird stuff like that. But it basically takes more of a form along the lines of like Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, shit.
Lot closer to that,
yeah.
So
because when you're describing it, I was like, who's like the best like film serial killer? Is it Hannibal Lecter? Just as you were describing the Gemini Man.
Honestly, this guy, he's the Gemini Killer. He's not really the main character. Yeah, apparently he was more so a main character in the book. This film is mainly just about the lieutenant. And there was a lot of reshoots. There's this whole thing, the usual story of like this,
every film ever made.
Yeah, this tortured artist who is supposed to make this one film, and then the studio said we should make another. And he actually does have a point towards the end of the film, where there's clearly some kind of hand of God studio intervention, which doesn't really track with the rest of the film. But yeah, the whole thing is it turns into more of like a police procedural / like psychological horror film, rather than an outright demonic, hyper Catholic Exorcist, demon film.
Yeah.
Which is I thought it was a really good like way to take the story. Really unconventional way to take the story. They didn't need to go this way, but they did, and William Peter Blatty really pulled it off. It's really well shot. Like it's really well done. Like everything makes sense. The team's running through it, like they're all there. They're all like very much realized, and it's just it's a good mix of genres, which you don't really see that much. Like you always have like Silence of the Lambs, for example. It's just Hunt for the Killer.
Yeah,
I like Silence of the Lambs
thriller,
but it's not like like I would never I'd never sit down. I'd love to watch that again.
I remember I remember rewatching it during lockdown, I think, and I watched it on my phone.
Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, this film really doesn't need to be on a big screen.
Yeah, like it's
good. Like
it's a good movie.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, this is a good movie.
But an all-timer, it's not something that I'd be like, I need to watch that again.
Certainly not something I would like. If I was to make a top 100 films of all time, I mean top 100. At the stage where I'm struggling, I would then put on Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, I'd probably completely forget about Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah,
that's
same.
where it is for me.
Yeah,
like it's a good film.
Really,
I wouldn't rank it though.
Like really good film, but I would not rank it.
Yeah.
Like there is, in fact, I'll tell you live. I was to make 100 best movies of all time. That film would not be anywhere near it.
Yeah, it just wouldn't.
Yeah.
And so like that's a good example of police procedural mystery kind of film. Which is sometimes said to be a horror film, but it's really not.
Yeah. There's like that one fucking night vision scene.
Yeah.
But even at that,
it's not. Horror. It's really not. Whereas I think that film that was 1991. This film is 1990. This is the horror film that Silence of the Lambs would be if it was a horror film.
Yeah.
Like, this is an actual horror film, which is also a police procedural about a murder mystery investigation. Which I just like when those things come together, like the True Detective kind of thing, where it's like there's something seriously wrong here. This obviously doesn't have the same conspiratorial kind of like wide web of bizarre kind of cultish shit going on or anything like that.
Detective is so good.
Yeah, it's just about one demon, and just really weird things that are happening, and no one's really sure what exactly is going on. And so it's like about the past and about hauntings, both like real and kind of like in your head.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's a huge psychological aspect to it. It's I don't want to go into the whole like I think you should watch it because this is the best threequel I've probably ever seen.
Yeah, fair. I'm literally like racking my brain, being like, Terminator 3 sucks, Alien 3 sucks. Yeah. I can't think.
Like
of,
that's not hard. Again, what was the one we were talking about earlier?
Godfather 3 sucks.
Yeah. It's like it's not hard to be the best or to be a really good threequel because there's generally shit. But this one it just surprised me by how good it was. Despite the fact that it really shouldn't be good at all. It does kind of the directors William Peter Blatty, his whole argument kind of against the film himself is the latter kind of 20 minutes, which you can clearly see the hand of the studio coming in and saying we need some kind of big final confrontation here, which doesn't suit the flow or the pacing or the general attitude of the film at all. But it still works, but it doesn't. You could see where he wanted to go with it.
Yeah.
And the fact that he couldn't go there, it's parts of the film don't really make a lot of sense toward the end of it. But it's still cool. It's still scary, and it's still engaging and interesting all the way through the entire film. An hour and 50 minutes, really well made. It's like genuinely like actually, it's a scary film.
It's actually good.
I'm just surprised by how good it is.
It's like this is a 180 of 5 Nights at Freddy's, where it's like you expect it to be mid, but it's like, oh shit, this is actually pretty good.
It turns out this is actually a good film. So fair play to him, and shame on those who underrate this film. Like you're the one who said that this you've heard this is a good film.
Yeah.
But you don't really see it. I haven't seen it online myself so far. Though I'll probably look into it now more so. Just because it's very overlooked.
It really, yeah.
It's a
hidden gem.
It's an actual hidden gem.
Yeah.
Not in the kind of cliche sense of the word.
Is it a cult classic?
I wouldn't say that. No,
yeah, I wouldn't do that.
I'd say a lot of people watch this just because of the name.
Fair enough, yeah.
But like it is definitely. Maybe it could be.
Could be, yeah.
It could become like a Halloween 3 kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's a cult classic.
That's a good prequel.
Yeah, maybe this is a very, very different film. So I wouldn't compare them. Yeah,
there's a lot of shit in Halloween 3.
There is. Yeah, true. Yeah, no.
There's a lot of stuff you have to get. I think like Halloween 3 is really good when you think about the subtext or like the just craziness of the plot.
Halloween 3, yeah.
But
the whole thing with the main character, we just going around being a piece of shit.
Yeah, that's irredeemable. Absolutely irredeemable.
Yeah, he's just so.
But he fails, so that kind of works out for.
Yeah.
I need to watch Halloween 3 again.
It's a great movie.
Very good movie. Right, well, we go for a break.
Let's go for a quick break.
Yeah. Right, before we get on to our recommended film for this episode, we got one more fish to fry. I was going to say a big fish, but it's not really that big of a fish. It's a fisher.
It's a subtle fish. It's
fish. It's Fincher. It's not Fisher. Who the fuck is David Fincher? No, Fisher.
Yeah, David Fincher. Yeah.
Who the fuck is that?
David Fisher. He's brand new on the scene. I like what he's coming out with. David Fincher's
Fish Club.
Fish Club and
Gone Gill.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's on the spot. That's really good.
I hope someone cringes at that one.
Gone Gill. I like that. David Fisher.
Yeah.
David Fincher's latest release only available on Netflix.
It actually wasn't even. It was actually in cinemas.
Oh.
Yeah, but then it's on cinemas.
I watched it on a dodgy box.
Yes.
Just I couldn't access my Netflix account because they fucking refuse to let me. You know, my mom has the account and I can't use it, so I have to watch it illegally. This is such a joke. We should cancel that as well. There's no point having any of these things anymore. It's just such a waste of time.
There's something so fucking funny about having to illegally stream a film that's on a service that you have.
Yeah, I literally paid for the service and I can't watch it.
Jesus, that's so funny.
But yeah, David Fincher's The Killer.
The Killer.
Starring Michael Fassbender.
The returning Michael Fassbender. I haven't seen him something in years,
It's
man.
been a while. Alien Covenant.
Surely, did you do The Iceman or The Snowman? Whatever that fucking dog shit film was called.
The what? The Snowman?
I think it's called The Snowman.
I don't know.
It was meant to be really, really bad. I've never seen it, but it's meant to be really, really bad.
Yeah, he hasn't done anything big for a good while anyway. I think he actually got charged with something, so it might have been something to do with that.
Oh, no.
He's also racing around the world. He's a race car driver in his spare time. A lot like Frankie Muniz, but about the stroke. But he stars in The Killer, which is a very interesting film by David Fincher, which is available now for you to watch. Yeah, but yeah,
It was The Snowman. He was in the X-Men movies.
Was he?
So the last film he was in 2019, and then he hasn't been in anything until this came out.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, 4 years.
4
So
years.
yeah, bit of a break. Geez, his last few movies were dog shit. He did Dark Phoenix, which is meant to be dog shit. The Snowman, which is meant to be dog shit. Alien Covenant, which is dog shit. Assassin's Creed, which is probably dog shit.
It is.
And X-Men Apocalypse, which is fairly bad. I wouldn't say dog shit, but like fairly bad. Jesus, what the fuck is he doing?
Yeah, he really went off the rails towards the end.
Yeah. But what do you think of this movie?
I think Fassbender's back. I think
Mhm.
Fincher's back. Because I thought Mank was kind of...
Stank.
Yeah, Mank was... That's the best way to put it. It was stank. It was such a forgettable film. So boring. You know? So he was actually... It is like black and white films are boring. That film was fucking boring. Like, it was so pointless. It's like, what was the point?
What are we doing here?
What was the point of that film? Like, why did that film come out?
Citizen Kane, Mark. That's why.
Citizen Kane. It's like...
I have no idea what that film has to do with Citizen Kane. I've never seen it.
He's the guy who wrote it, and that's it.
Oh, wow.
Like, it wasn't really... Like, did it have much to do with Citizen Kane? I don't really think it did. There was like McCarthy stuff in there as well, wasn't there?
Isn't there
he was
always?
blacklisted. There's more interesting things to write about there. It's like, remember that film Trump? Bryan Cranston was in it.
Yeah, I know the film you're talking about. Yeah, Drumbo, something like
Trumbo, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point of those films? I don't get it.
It's Hollywood saying sorry for the bad things that it's done in the past.
Yeah,
it's like it has much more things to apologize for that it hasn't even started to yet.
yeah, pulling itself off, being like, we're so fucking cool. You know, this guy was one of us, even though we tried to destroy his life and his family and his career. But anyway, yeah, The Killer. I think this is a great film. I have to say, I think this is a really good film. I think it's like a cross between it's peak Fincher, you know. It's all very, very controlled,
pure pristine,
precise. You know, very prestige. So it's nearly too prestige, or too sense, like kind of cringy. I thought the it's kind of like you know, like I thought all the
wanking yourself off.
There's the whole use of the Smiths. I thought that was kind of like Edgar Wright, kind of like I thought that was a bit stupid.
Bro, that was something I was like, and then I was like, oh, cool, and then I went back to
yeah.
It was like it had me like it was like I looped around my feeling on it.
Yeah.
But then it ended with these charming men. I was like, yeah, you got me again. I'm back.
Yeah, like it did work. I just thought it was, I don't know. I just thought it was kind of the way it kind of lands in the film.
Do you know, this is one of those type of movies where like it's so pristine and like high quality that I really take note of like editing choices and sound design.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I really took notice of the fact that when he's so the killer is about an assassin, misses his target, his girlfriend gets beat up by assassins. He goes out to get revenge. That's the plot.
Yeah, that's
Very,
it.
very simple, generic plot.
Mm.
But there's a scene where he's like looking through the sniper at the start of the movie, and he's listening to the Smiths. And when you can see him in the background, you can hear the Smiths as if it's playing through his earphones. But then when you're seeing what he is seeing,
I thought that was good.
you can hear the music clearly. And I really took note of that. I was like, that's fucking cool.
Yeah, I thought that was a great use of that. But then, like, some of the other uses I just thought were just too deliberate. This seemed too telegraphed. I didn't like it.
I thought it was really cool, and then I knew why I noticed it, because it does it multiple times.
Yeah.
It kept doing it. I was like, oh yeah, like it's cool, like it's cool, but you're doing it a lot. So I'm really, it's less cool if I'm really noticing it.
Yeah, I have to take a position here, you know, and you kind of you're pushing me. You keep pushing me towards kind of like, you know, yeah, I get it, you know, I get it. It was kind of insistent about that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's still pretty cool. I think the film itself is good. It's very good, regardless. It kind of makes Zodiac Fight Club, though it isn't as maybe openly presenting itself for interpretation as something like Fight Club obviously is.
Yeah,
you know, because it's very, very to the point, very direct. It's the premise is very, very simple. Like, as you said, it's an assassin who thinks he's above everyone else, misses, makes a mistake, fucks up, and then has to basically deal with the consequences.
do you think that's the thing you're talking about, Mank?
Yeah. He's the assassin. He's like, oh, I missed just once,
Shit.
and now they're after me.
The perfect shot. I missed it.
Yeah.
French. Nor is the character in this. Just stick it Leon the professional. One shot.
Do not lose your chance. But no, I think a lot of it is a deconstruction in the same way that Fight Club is. The whole toxic masculine. These days, you have the Patrick Bateman Sigma male archetype.
Boy, don't you just
stuff like that. Yeah, the Ryan Gosling archetype, which is obviously, you know, kind of more people projecting themselves onto Ryan Gosling characters. Whatever.
Marky, I am him.
I am him. He's literally me. You know, I was stuck in a dark place for a while because I literally thought I was him.
And then Barbie movie came out.
And then
now
Barbie
everything's okay.
It's like, oh, he's cool, goofy again.
I can be happy.
But and yeah, this one he's like, like the initial part of the film, he's the first 10-15 minutes where it's just the setup and it's him doing this whole yoga, downward dog. He's like kind of like this stoic, you know, nihilistic.
I am in control.
Yeah, hired gun. I am the few, you are the many. I am the wolf, you are the sheep. You know, I'm the dominant force here. It's like this whole, it's like this Sigma male, you know, hyper masculine archetype, that isn't affected by anything else around him. You know, despite all laws of physics and like, you know, basic human nature and stuff like that. And then I think from the point where he misses his shot and he fucks up, and the consequences start to bear down on him. It's like it's basically pulling that archetype apart.
Yeah,
but it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't fully elaborate on that in a way that would be. Maybe it would be more interesting if they kind of really got to the meat and bones of it a bit more. But like I think the whole film is basically boils down to that kind of deconstruction. In my opinion.
Yeah,
because he just loses control altogether. Even like the whole thing is obviously he's successful to the extent that he's a expert assassin.
Yeah,
and he's hunting down the people he needs to attack to gain revenge. But like the entire time, as he's reminded by one of his victims, is that like he's basically playing into a cycle here, which has already been set in motion, which he can never escape from. And which completely undermines his entire sense of self, which he expressed in the first 10-15 minutes of the film.
Yeah,
this whole idea of like he is an island. This man is an island. You know, he's just a mercenary. He's a hard gun, no emotion. He can't be affected. He's the predator. You are the prey. That's not the case. That's clearly not the case from the minute that he missed that shot.
Yeah,
and it just like everything that he thought he was, it just doesn't apply. And each time, every single sequence in the film is him
being like, paranoid.
Yes, like slowly coming to realize that it's basically the situations have reversed, and that he's not the predator, maybe there aren't any predators at all. It's just kind of like weird economic relations. Because the whole thing as well boils down to even like when he initially talks about only do what you're paid to do.
Yeah,
that's
something like that.
something he says. Yeah, he's just there. He's just a hired gun. He's a mercenary. And when he gets blowback for failing to kill his target, they go after his wife or his girlfriend. And so he seeks revenge because of that. And he goes after these people who've attacked this person he loves the most. And every time he meets the people responsible, whether it's like the go-betweens or like the people who are directly involved or the person who ordered it, it always comes down to it was just business. Like there's no emotions behind it, but at the same time, emotions.
It's just what happens.
Fuel everything that happens in the film, but it's the emotions coming from within him.
Yeah. Which no one else gives a fuck.
Yeah. So I thought it was interesting. That kind of way.
Yeah, fair enough. I think I could have done a lot more to emphasize that.
Yeah.
I think you'd like, because I also thought this movie was really good, but I did not view it like that. I just kind of viewed it as like a revenge, standard-ish kind of movie. Because like it's still like, that's just like what you're describing is like basically every film like this. Like every film that falls underneath the story is basically that. Like it just has the difference of that establishment of, I'm a man of my own or whatever. I've like no emotions.
Yeah.
But like without that opening like 15 minutes,
it's just a revenge film.
It's just a standard revenge movie.
Yeah,
and they don't. I feel like that, like what you're saying, would have been more effective. I definitely think it is there, but I think it would have been more effective if it was emphasized more with each encounter.
Yeah,
because like when he meets the first dude, not the taxi driver, but the first assassin that beat up his girlfriend, like there's literally nothing there. Like it's just straight into a fight.
He's just there, yeah.
Yeah,
he's just chilling at home.
Straight into a fight, brutal fight.
It's a good fight.
Good fight.
But yeah, there is no real like meat to that scene. It's more the meat is more just like the actual violence itself.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it would have been maybe better for like somewhat subverts your expectations or something, where like you're expected to be this revenge thing, but in each instance, it's like a conversation. And then you don't get the kill. You get just the conversation. Yeah,
no, there's definitely elements which they could have leaned on
so that would have been fucking
more.
lame though.
That would have been so. I would be like, oh,
it would have been real trife.
Well, like depending on how it was executed.
Yeah.
But I think what differentiates it is the fact that you like I didn't sympathize with this guy at all. Like, no. I didn't care what happened to him at all.
And I think the film does a good job at that.
Like he's extremely unlikable.
Yeah, like especially when you have that scene with the woman and she's trapped, and like I think like what this film does really well is that like this film's plot is really fucking simple in terms of like like say for example like Taken. Like Taken is like 90 minutes of this guy like investigating and figuring out what he needs to do, like trying to figure out like who the people are, what he needs to do to get to them. Michael Fassbender's character, the majority of this film is him driving to where he needs to go. Like the actual action sequence and stuff like that don't really take up that much time because those bits are quite quick and he knows what he needs to do. And the majority of the film is him just simply getting from point A to point B.
Yeah, and doing monologues and stuff.
And these like monologues about the Smiths and stuff like that. Monologues, and sometimes monologues about the Smiths, right?
Yeah.
But like that scene where like he has the woman and she begs him. She's like, "Please don't make me disappear. Like I know you need to kill me, but don't make me disappear." And you're like, oh, that like this dude's a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, no, he's just like for the whole opening 15 minutes. I think it's just set up to be like to make you feel nothing for this character. Like he's just unrelatable. He's not likable at all. He's a terrible person.
He's a killer.
He's arrogant. Yeah, he's a killer. He's arrogant.
Like he likes the Smiths.
Yeah.
Fucking red flag there.
Yeah, he's constantly listening to the Smiths. He's pretentious. Everyone knows someone like this guy, you know. But he's just like a pure psychopath. like in the model of something like Patrick Bateman. You know, that's how I kind of saw it.
Or
and
Tyler Durden.
Yeah. And then the rest of the film is he doesn't. There's not like really the downfall as such.
I
properly.
think at the end
It is a downfall, but it's
there's
very
that
soft.
hint at the end where like he like twitches or like his eye, or, like he can't relax or something like that.
Yeah, he can never relax again. So like everything after that is negating that first 15 minutes, where like he's exposed as like someone who's obviously very, very powerful, like strong, I'm good at what he's doing, but at the same time like extremely weak emotionally and fragile in the same way that every human is. And that everything he was telling himself at the beginning wasn't for some exterior audience or for ourselves or for posterity or whoever. It was him trying to reassure himself that he was somehow better than the people he was targeting. Which is, you know, obviously just pure cope.
Pure copium
on the part of this chap. I think the film expressed that well, but maybe there's different things it could have elaborated on a little bit better. And the fact it's executed so well, technically speaking, and the music is really good, and so that kind of makes up for any deficits that might have. Thematic deficits that might be there as well.
Like this is like as I said, like this is a film where I took notice of like techniques and like sound design and stuff like that. Like when he has the fight with the big dude, when the fella is stomping towards him, the camera shakes. And like you really feel like this dude. Like I watched this film with Melissa, and Melissa's like, "Holy shit, that dude's fucking huge." And it's just from that simple like camera shake with each stomp towards him, of like the sound design of like the perspective sound, like cool just shit like that. Even like the like. Just seeing what the character, cause this is like a very proficient killer, and you get that scene where like he goes in with the bin, and he like stops near the tap or whatever, and he counts Mississippi 1, Mississippi 2, Mississippi to count down how long it takes for the door to close. And just being like, oh, I can see, like you hear the tension, like the tension building from that, and then as he goes in, like it just plays off all very. It's such a like well constructed film.
Every
like,
set piece
like
very well
works.
Put together. Yeah, the door thing is a great example because even like the sound of the door closing, and I don't know, just the way it conveys the tension of it's about to close. It's not just like you better get in there. It's like it's proper. It's a multimedia experience of you like wanting, well, not really wanting, but like, you know, waiting to see if this bin man can get through the door on time, you know. But it's still it's very, very tense. You're not really sure what he's gonna do when he gets in there either.
Because you have no idea who the fuck these people are.
But it makes for a very engaging set piece. So
like that's it. Like that's the thing with the film. Like everything that he does is like so proficient and like efficient and exact, and that is reflective in like how the movie is made. Very prestigious. But like not to like a ridiculous extent. Like this is an incredibly well made movie. It's like one of the best. It's like this is like a film that I have not seen like in a very long time, where like you really take in the filmmaking techniques that are going on in the movie. You know what I mean?
There's not a foot set wrong. Which is it is rare, and even there's parts that could be better, I think. But even the parts that maybe I wish had gone a different place, or maybe like focus on something else. It still doesn't feel like like I'm missing out here. It's more like the film is still being made as it is in a very, you know, not competent, like a really really well made film. It's just you can just watch and be engaged regardless of what you're thinking about it anyway.
Absolutely.
Visually speaking, it's very good.
But Mark, is it as well made as our recommended film for this episode?
Our recommended film of the week is Hour of the Wolf, or Varg Timmen, directed by
great pronunciation
Ingmar Bergman, 1968 film. It's only 90 minutes long. I hope you had a look at it. An artist in crisis is haunted by nightmares from the past in Ingmar Bergman's only horror film, which takes place on a windy island. During the Hour of the Wolf, between midnight and dawn, he tells his wife about his most painful memories.
Right. Initial thoughts?
Hour of the Wolf, haunting,
Spooky,
but not in a scary way.
Yeah.
I think it was more like an unnerving kind of thing.
Yeah, it was. Like, I know that I said this before, that The Killer was a movie that I watched and I really like took in the filmmaking techniques.
Yeah.
I haven't watched a film like that in a very long time. That's actually a lie, because the night before I watched this film, and I similarly enough I was like, man, like when you're watching a Bergman film, you are watching an Ingram Bergman film. Like it's like, you know, you take him, you know, Tarkovsky, Goddard. Feel like there's another one there. Like these, like, you know, European and also Russian. Like
they're one of
you know, like, you know, close enough. Like these, like, you know, non-American filmmakers, non-Asian, like, you know, this part of the world filmmakers, and it's like one of the canon of that.
Yeah, Titans.
Yeah, Titans in, like, you know, film history.
Uh-huh.
And you know, people say that I think in general, Hour of the Wolf is considered Bergman's weakest film, which is just like insane. Like I thought this film was fantastic, and it's like this is your worst, and it is still like eons better than like most shit I've seen.
Yeah, no, like it's so well put together, and it's so well made as well. Like I read. I was reading about it. There was, I don't know, it was some different point, but someone mentioned how it wasn't as well made as other films. And I was like, what the fuck is other films like then? It's like this is like what? It's like, I don't know. Like Persona obviously is like kind of like a companion, or it's like it's very close.
Have you seen Persona?
We watched it together, no?
I remember watching that movie, but I can't remember a single fucking thing about it.
That's the thing, neither can I.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure we watched it around the same time as Seventh Seal.
I think we did.
Yeah.
I can't remember that movie.
Because I know...
I can't really remember Seventh Seal all that much.
I remember Seventh Seal. But Seventh Seal, I would say this is like a better film than Seventh Seal.
I also thought that.
I would definitely say that.
Yeah. Maybe because like Seventh Seal deals with the concept of death, which is like, you know, a big thing. Like the whole movie's about death, so it gets that prestigious boost of being something more grand.
Yeah.
But I've also seen Autumn Sonata.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Jeez, man. that is a rough old watch as well. That is a movie about like fucking like 40 minutes of that film is just a daughter and a mom having an argument.
Oh.
And it's like the best cinema you've ever fucking seen in your life. Yeah, like we should watch Wild Strawberries as well.
Yes.
This film made me want to do a series where we don't do a franchise, but we do like directors.
Yeah.
And just like watch, you know, their biggest hits.
Yeah, we could definitely do that.
Yeah, because like Bergman is like a director that like I want to see more of,
Uh-huh.
and having seen this film, like this is your weakest movie. Holy shit!
Yeah, like I find that hard to believe, but also I don't know enough about Bergman to negate that. But I don't really see what could be said to be wrong with this film.
No, neither.
Especially like maybe from like a modern sensibility, it's like, oh, like where's the you know, it's kind of slow, or it's not really slow either. Like, but you know, it is an art house film from the 60s. It's in Swedish, so in that sense, it's maybe a bit limited.
Yeah.
But like that's not really a limitation. It's more just what it is. But I just don't see anything wrong with this film at all.
No, yeah, same. Man, like
it's not a horror film really at all either.
Until like the end.
Yeah, like it's a horror film, but it's a horror film in the same way like even The Shining is more of a horror film than this is. But The Shining isn't just a horror film.
Do you know what this film reminded me of? The Lighthouse.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Just like kind of like the Seventh Seal obviously is more like it's like a parable.
Mm-hmm.
But this is like it's more like a short story that you'd find in like the back of an old book.
Yeah.
And
it just freaks you out when you read it.
Yeah. It's kind of like it's similar to like The Lighthouse, but the only thing that I could compare it to the only thing I compare it to at all really. But yeah, because it's like a genre story, but. Or it's an art house film about like artistic subjectivity couched in a genre tale, or genre conventions.
Yeah.
There's nothing really like haunted house about this film at all.
No, literally, until like the end, where like it becomes like vampires.
I don't know what's happening.
Ghosts.
It's some kind of symbolic symbology.
So like, I'm not even gonna try and remember what the characters' names are in this film, but like
Alma and Johan.
Oh fucking hell, Jesus, Mark, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
So this movie's about a woman and a man. Well, actually, no. The film starts off with Alma talking about. Actually, no. I'll lie again. This film actually starts with Bergman having like writing on the fucking screen saying that he heard this story from a friend of a friend or something like that, and he went off to the island and talked to Alma. So the film is portraying itself as a recreation of a story that Bergman has heard from one of the people in the story. But the actor is still the same. And the film even starts off with the director saying action.
Yeah. You hear his instructions.
Yeah, and you hear the set being built, and I think he says lights, and then the film starts. So the film, like from the get-go, is like being like, this is not a depiction of reality. This is a film. This is a film that is about, making films, about being an artist. And yeah, so we go on from that point, and it's about like a fucking artist basically being depressed as fuck because he can't sleep. He can't sleep, and he can't. I think he can make art, but he is just traumatized by his past, but also the art that he is making that isn't like quite authentic enough. I think I can't really remember what he was saying in the movie.
Yeah. Because he has it's something to do with that. So the entire time throughout the film, he has, what's her name? What's the woman that he's obsessed with?
His muse. Yeah, I can't remember her name.
It's VV. Wait, give me a second.
Yeah, go on.
I have to fucking find her. Veronica Vogler.
Yeah.
So the all the way through the film, well, not all the way through the film, about a third of the way in, you find out. So he's living on this island with Johan, the artist. He's living on this island with Alma, who's his wife, and she's pregnant. He can't sleep. He's all fucked up. He's going through some serious shit.
Boy is stressed.
And she's the dutiful artist's wife, trying to be there for him and like battling his demons, hitting the bottle, can't sleep. The nightmare world is kind of intruding on his reality. They're one organism, they're married.
Mm-hmm.
They're like one being, or theoretically anyway. So she wants to stick by him for the entire time. Third of the way through, we find out that he's still kind of obsessed with a girl that he used to be with, Veronica Vogler.
She was his muse.
Yeah, his muse, who's this like other beautiful woman that he used to be with, who he still is still obsesses with, and still has a lot of desire for. So how I kind of saw that was like Alma is kind of like a part of him that is there already.
Mm-hmm.
She's not the object of desire.
Mm-hmm.
The object of desire is what he wants to produce.
Yes.
Basically, is the art that he wants to make.
Yeah.
Even if he actually had that in his hands, he'd be like, "This is shit as well."
Yeah.
I want Alma.
It would be the same thing.
Yeah, just reverse.
The grass is always greener.
Yeah, the constant like recession of the object of desire. It's always something else that you can't attain.
Yeah.
Like I don't think Johan Vogler is even really. Like, she's in the film, but it's not made clear if she's actually really there at all.
Yeah.
Because the lines between dream and reality are blurred very heavily in, like, the last third. But it doesn't really matter if that's kind of the point of the film, is that she's more of just like a mirage of this kind of, like, sleep-deprived, like, insane artist's idea of what he would like to do, or what he would like to produce or create, rather than what he actually has. And he can't see what he has because he's constantly tormented by this need to have more, or to produce something else, or to recreate himself constantly.
And actually that makes more sense, like towards the end, as what you're saying, because you have the You have like the rich and the elite, the aristocracy.
Yeah,
Is that the word? Yeah, right.
The vampires.
The
It's
vampires.
Yeah,
Yeah, literally, because they turn into vampires basically at the end. Like he turns into a big bat. That may and like the artist being subjected to, you know, the critiques and the what's the word I'm looking for? The like taking the piss out of him.
Ridicule.
The ridicule. Thank you. The like critique and the ridicule of the elite who are like, oh yeah, you're a great artist and you make art for us, because why would you make art for poor people? That makes no sense. Like you do it because you want to impress us. And then the vampire imagery from that stems where they consume him, and you know he basically dies and he just goes off or whatever, like within the narrative of the film, but the subtext of that being, you know, you get consumed by the elite for making, you know,
consumption,
rich art.
Yeah, pure consumption for consumption's sake.
Yeah,
against like the primal urges of the artist to create something you know, with meaning. Even if that the kind of urge itself is a mirage. Your art is commodified. Yeah.
And there's like the meaning and value of it is just stripped away.
Yeah.
For something that the rich can prop themselves up with.
Yeah. It's all he's completely alienated.
Yeah.
From what he's trying to create. He doesn't even know really.
Which I feel like
he's just haunted by this notion of something that he might, this kind of like potential that he could have had.
Yeah.
Or that he could be, but which he can't realize properly.
Yeah. Which I think, like, I don't know a lot about Bergman, but I definitely can see that Bergman probably felt like that. Yeah, like, just from like how Bergman is discussed in terms of like the canons. Literally, as I was saying at the start of, like, we're talking about this movie, the canons of history of Bergman being like, you know, elite filmmaking.
Yeah. He's like one of the few names that, like, if you know, even you don't even have to know art house cinema, but you know his name. Yeah. You know, it's like Godard and all that, and like, you know, Bresson, Kurosawa, all that shit. Yeah. So everyone knows these guys if you're like into movies, even if you haven't necessarily watched what they made. Yeah. I thought it was interesting as well that like the Alma in this film, Liv Ullmann, man, she's a beautiful woman, a great actress. I took
one of my notes before you go on was shit. Liv Ullmann has one of the best faces in all of cinema.
Yeah.
Holy fuck, she's such a great actor.
She's so so emotive, like so like photogenic. Just like, it's just really,
she really just like her
expresses
face
like stuff so well.
Distraught is like never been conveyed so well by an actor.
Yeah, because it's so close. It's like it's close-ups. A lot like huge sequences, just close-ups of her, and she just carries it so well. But around the time that this film was made, Ingmar Bergman was married with a child, and he met Liv Ullmann, and they basically ran off together. And while this film was being made, and afterwards, he just basically abandoned his family to be with Liv Ullmann. Understandably, maybe.
Who knows?
Well, not understandably. Anyway, that's a piece of shit move. But this film, weirdly enough, this film is dedicated to his wife, who would have at the time. So that kind of changed how I. Oh my god! Yeah. So it kind of changed how I looked at the film.
Wait, so Liv Ullmann, terms, like as you say now,
in the film, she is
his actual, like, his wife in real life. Yeah. And Liv Ullmann is the woman that he wants to go after in terms of the movie.
Film. Yeah, in the film, she is Veronica Vulgar.
That's like, mad.
Like in terms of the analogy. Yeah. Or I that kind of changed how I looked at the film, because it basically, from that point of view, it's kind of like Johann is...
Oh, Johann is Bergman.
Johann is...
Like, the most blatant, like, artistic fucking insert I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. He is Bergman, and he's, like, such a tortured artist, and he just wants to, you know, put out good art and stuff. But look at that sexy lady over there.
Look at them titties.
Yeah.
Look at them bare titties.
Throwback. Good reference to the start of the episode. But he expressed it like in a really artistic way, obviously. So it's all about how, you know, he wants to be like, obviously he loves Alma, you know, Alma, like quotation marks, and his kid, who's a child, who's also in the film. Really weird as well. He kills a child in the film.
That's a separate child though. That's not his.
It's not his child, but
Yeah.
like there is a child.
That fucking scene, man.
There is a scene. There's a
we'll get onto that.
Yeah.
Jesus.
In the film, Johan kills a child. It's not his child, but so he kills a child and he abandons his wife.
It's like one of the most awful things I've ever seen in my fucking life. That
Yeah.
scene, Jesus. Like,
Yeah.
take on, you keep on.
But by the end of the film, he's sitting there, and like I don't know who it reflects worse on, Bergman, Ullman, or Bergman's wife. So he's sitting there at the end of the film, like, oh, what the fuck have I done? Basically, it's like I'm completely fucked up, and he gets consumed by vampires. And then they all signed off on this film. We're like, this is for you, Mrs. Bergman. It's like, what the hell was that? Is that like that's how do you kind of respond to that?
Yeah.
But yeah, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say like again, like in terms of like fucking scenes of great filmmaking, the like hyper exposure of that scene where it's like a memory, and like it's so visually different to the rest of it because everything's like so bright. There's no dialogue except for the boy screaming in agony as he's getting pelted against the rocks.
Yeah.
But there's
even the cut, like the editing. There's something like
I
think there's 30 or 40 shots in that. Like it's less than a minute, I think, or maybe just over a minute.
I think it's like 2 minutes long.
Yeah, and there's like 30 or 40 shots, whereas the rest of the film is very, very slow.
Yeah,
very deliberate filmmaking. And
there's no establishment beforehand as to what the fuck it is.
Yeah.
Like it's not like he's
plunged into it.
He's like
it's like a fever dream.
Because he tells one story about his mom locking him in the cupboard or something like that, and then he's allowed to come out. He's like talking about when he's a child, and his dad beats him really, really severely, and the mom's like, "Oh yes, of course, I forgive you." And like Johan, Bergman, Bergman was just like, that's the first time I ever saw my mother cry, and then it just, I'm fairly certain, it just then cuts straight to this, and we just see the story that he's telling rather than like him telling us the story, and visually looks very different. The music in that scene is so horrible. There's two great bits of tension in the movie for me. One is the scene where Johan is like, have you ever realized how long a minute is? And he makes us just sit there for a minute. And in the background, Ullman is just making these awful faces as she's in like this agony, as like seeing her husband just losing his fucking mind, and we the audience have to sit there and wait a fucking minute for this character to continue on. And you're like, what the fuck is he gonna do? And then the other scene is when Johan is down by the water and the boy is just behind him, and you're like, is he gonna push him? Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, because there's no explanation as to what the fuck anything. Like, you have no idea.
What's happening? Yeah.
Because at this stage, the film has gone into absurdity.
Yeah,
but then it goes then you realize the film hasn't even got into the absurdity.
Yeah, it hasn't even got it because it's called a horror film for a reason. I wouldn't say it's a horror film, but it is called. It's
like a psychological horror film.
It's like Lighthouse isn't a horror film either, but I could see how people would say that.
Yeah,
because it doesn't really matter what it's called anyway. But it is. The film is terrifying. I think. It's very
hits a note.
It hits a note. It hits a. It's like it's like a proper like. Yeah, you kind of feel it in your bones, kind of stuff. It's not like you're not jumping. At like random scares and stuff. It's more like it's like a slow boil, and then you realize that you're in the tank and that you've been boiled alive.
Yeah, you're in the fucking what's that thing called? The Iron Bull thing.
Yeah.
Fuck that, and then you make noises like that boy does. Yeah, and even like there's like different aspects of like kind of horror in the film because you have the psychological horror that's going on through Johan, but then there's even like vague like social tension horror in like the dinner table scene, which then just plays into the whole like aristocracy scenes and stuff like that. But yeah, oh man, like You need to watch more Bergman. That's all I got away from this film. Is fuck me, Bergman.
Yeah.
Hot take, good director.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Oh yeah, a little a rough diamond here. a little known classic. But yeah, this was. I love this film. I thought this was great.
Same. Thought this film was great.
We thought this for hours though. Like all the I didn't really touch on all the characters, like the demons that he has inside his head, which basically become real.
Yeah.
Like that's.
Yeah, the fucking man, the bit where he's in the gaff and he's walking around and he's talking about like, oh yeah, I keep seeing, like, he's earlier on in the film he talks about a woman that like takes off her hat and her face, and like, what a bizarre image. I wonder what that could look like. And the film later on shows you what that looks like.
Yeah.
And it's probably like, oh my god, holy shit. And like the fucking dude standing upside down, crying, being like so jealous that John has gone off to like bone this fucking beautiful woman.
Yeah. And then like the meaning of, like, he's done up in kind of like drag before he.
Yeah, the performers.
He's like a clown, or like he's like, I don't know. He's done up in makeup anyway before he's introduced to the chamber with Veronica, or like this mirage of Veronica as well. I don't know I didn't look into what that means, but that definitely means a lot.
Oh yeah.
Whatever the hell that means, it means something.
Definitely something.
It was it was you know, it's visceral imagery regardless. It's kind of disturbing to see. Disturbing scenes.
Yeah.
Mature themes.
Mature movie. Who knew cinema peaked in the 60s? I don't believe that.
Actually,
peaked in the 70s.
It was the 70s. Factually, it was the 70s.
Yeah, actually, 50 fucking years ago. Yeah. Right, we'll leave it at that.
We'll leave it there for this week.
Right, my recommended film will be Akira Kurosawa's Ran.
Let's go.
His adaptation of King Lear.
Okay.
Because, Mark, we need to stop talking about these. We need to get into this prestige film genres. I know that we talked about Tokyo Story, and we've talked about Stalker, and we've talked about like greatest films of all time. It's time to get back into it, Mark. No more The Shining miniseries and fucking dog shit films we talked about at the start of the year.
Lemura or whatever.
Yeah, we need to get into the fucking. Let's talk about the actual best films ever made.
Let's do it.
And judge them if so.
or debunk them as
or
the best
debunk. This film, Godfather, is actually overrated.
That's actually a muck that is.
We actually have never talked about The Godfather.
We have.
No, but you know what I mean? Like, actually, like, you know, as one of us has watched it recently.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, we haven't, yeah.
Can't be arsed.
Yeah, it's a bit long.
Anyway, we'll leave it at that.
Bye.